They are mighty and they dominate markets across continents. They are also accused of stifling competition and not allowing smaller firms to flourish. Even the United States, which is home to big tech giants like Apple, Amazon, and Google, had to come out with an antitrust bill to introduce a level playing field. But according to some reports, the bill is at risk of failing as a number of big companies are hell-bent against it and have spent millions of dollars in lobbying. Domination by a few big companies means higher prices and a lack of options for consumers like us. So we look towards the antitrust authorities to set things right. The Competition Commission of India, or CCI, has imposed a penalty of 1,337.76 crore rupees on Google. The action has been taken against the tech giant for allegedly abusing its dominant position in multiple markets in the Android mobile device ecosystem. The CCI has also issued a cease and desist order against Google and directed the company to modify its conduct within a defined timeline. Google has 30 days to provide the required financial details and supporting documents. In its response, Google said the CCI's move is a major setback for Indian consumers and businesses, and it is reviewing the order to evaluate its next steps. It added the decision opens serious security risks for Indians who trust Android's security features and raises the cost of mobile devices for Indians. This latest setback for Google comes just a month after the European Court of Justice's General Court upheld the EU Executive Commission's 2018 decision to impose a penalty on the tech giant, only reducing the fine amount from 4.34 billion euros to 4.125 billion euros. The latest EU fine is only one among a larger number of antitrust penalties, which add up to over 8 billion euros that Google could face in Europe. As on September 14, Google still had the option to move the appeal in the latest case to the EU's Court of Justice, the bloc's top court. Coming back to India, the CCI can take action against two activities: abuse of dominant position and anti-competitive conduct. It can receive a complaint from a central or state government authority or an informant. It can even look into issues on its own. If prima facie there is a case, then the Director General Office is asked to submit a report. If there is no contravention, then CCI can ask the parties concerned to share their objections, or it can decide to close the matter. However, if a case is made out, then the CCI can give directions for further inquiry or take action. What action can it take? The antitrust watchdog can issue directions to the parties concerned to discontinue such practices, re-enter negotiations, or impose a penalty. The maximum penalty can be 10% of the average turnover of the last 3 years. But if it is a cartel, then an even higher fine can be imposed. So, how likely is it that the CCI will succeed in making Google pay the India penalty? An analysis of its past record might provide an indication. The Competition Commission of India's annual report for 2018-19, which is the latest one available, reveals that most of the Commission's orders till the 31st of March 2019 were under appeal before the National Company Law Appellate Tribunal or under challenge before various high courts and the Supreme Court. A reply in Rajya Sabha in July revealed that between April 2017 and June 2022, the CCI imposed penalties amounting to 4,369.39 crore rupees in 241 cases for violations of various provisions of the Competition Act 2002. But only an amount of 197.88 crore rupees, or about 4.5% of the total, had been paid by the companies involved. The rest had been stayed or set aside by tribunals and courts. In some cases, the statutory time granted for the deposit of the penalty by the parties had not expired. A Parliamentary Standing Committee report also revealed a decline in the budgetary allocations for the CCI in the last 4 years. The CCI was allocated 46 crore rupees in FY23 according to the budget estimates, showing no increase over the FY22 revised estimates. The funds allocated to the Commission would have an impact on the resources at its disposal to pursue cases. As of March 2022, out of the sanctioned strength of 195 staff, 69 positions were vacant. Inadequate staffing is also likely to negatively impact the CCI's effectiveness. Compare this to the EU Commission staff of 800, most of which can be roped in for research. According to a 2018 news report, the CCI's research team had only 41 posts at that time. But apart from the data, what do experts have to say about where the CCI stands at present?
Stays in most of the cases is one of the major hurdles. We do not have in the CCI adequate number of people for not only research but the follow-up and so on. Quite a substantial amount of their time and energy is spent in defending their orders. So if they were having greater capacity, of course, it would have helped them in following it up more assiduously. There is a competition law amendment bill pending before the Parliament. And one of the amendments suggested therein is introduction of settlement and commitment provision for this in the competition law, wherein the delinquent parties, so they could enter into an agreement with the CCI for settlement, or they can give an advance commitment, and penalty would also be imposed, they could be lower. So the frequency of the appeals would go down.
The action against Google follows close on the heels of the Competition Commission slapping penalties on online travel firms MakeMyTrip and GoIbibo and hospitality services provider Oyo for unfair business practices. In fact, recent times have seen many cases related to digital markets and new age companies coming up before the CCI, involving online marketplace platforms, app stores, and payment gateways, to name a few. Against this backdrop, CCI chairperson Ashok Kumar Gupta recently said that the regulator was constantly honing its toolkit to meet the challenges arising from digital markets. Gupta added that the CCI planned to hire data scientists and algorithm experts for its upcoming digital markets and data unit. While the regulator tries to become future ready, how does it compare to its foreign counterparts? And are there any solutions to the challenges it faces?
What was tabled earlier in this monsoon session, the Competition Amendment Bill, that sort of empowering the CCI to issue specific guidelines to indicate what are the aggravating and attenuating factors for determining penalty. And once the sentencing or the penalty stage of the proceeding itself goes through that sort of rigor and gives parties that sort of certainty, then the chances of that quantum itself being revised upward or downward, irrespective of the actual merits of the case, that the scope for that sort of reduces. It has, most importantly, the power to modify contracts, and I think that's a real truth, is less in the penalties but more in the sort of remedies that it can actually grant, and those are completely at par with its peers.
Keeping aside the merits of the present case, at least the data on the actual amount of CCI penalties paid shows that the regulator could have a difficult road ahead as far as getting Google to pay up is concerned.
If you like this video, share it and subscribe to Business Standard. For more news, views and insights, log on to www.business-standard.com. Do also follow us on YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, Telegram and LinkedIn.